Hey guys, welcome back to another Coding Flamingo video. So I have always kind of maintained this channel away from my professional and personal life, but today we're doing a crossover episode. So I just finished presenting at DefCon this new tool that my company and I created called Cloud Watcher that basically monitors your Azure resources for changes that might be caused by a bad actor. And I'll link the presentation down below so you can learn more about it. And today I'm just going to go over how to set it up. So I already pulled an Azure Friday move and went ahead and pre-created the resources you're going to need. So you're basically going to need an automation account and a storage account. So once you have created the automation account with actually a run as account, another thing I kind of skipped, but it's in the README, is your run as account has to have the role of directory reader. That's so we can see the RBAC of the subscription. So in here, I just guide you through how to do it in PowerShell. It takes a few minutes, super easy to do, but I already went ahead and did that just to save some time. So going back here, assuming you already did that, next thing you have to do is go to modules. Any modules you're gonna have to add az.accounts, az.keyvault, az.resources, az.sql, and az.storage. Those are used by the runbook to kind of talk to all these different ones to check that the key vault hasn't changed, to check that your SQL admin hasn't changed, and storage we use to save the baseline and to read the baseline each time. So basically a TLDR of how it works, it scans your subscription, it saves that as a baseline, and then the next time you run them, you can run it in monitor mode and it'll just check that nothing has changed compared to that baseline. So now we go to runbooks and we go to PowerShell gallery, and here we just do Cloud Watcher, and it's the only one that comes up. And here you just click import. As you can see here, these are the modules that I was just talking about, and you can name it whatever you want. I name it Cloud Watcher, and this will go ahead and import it to your library. So now if you go here, it'll show, but as you can see, you can't run it until you have published it. But even before we run it, we have to go back and create some variables. Once again, I kind of went ahead and cheated, but I'll walk you through how to get each one of them. So we're going to start with run type. Run type is how I mentioned, there's like the setup run type that will just baseline it. And then there is the monitor runtime. So setup, you just run it once, and then you should change this variable to monitor. The rest of these four variables are basically from the storage account. So the first one is the account name is the storage account name. So as you can see here, it's called CloudWatch Demo. So I named account name and CloudWatch Demo. And all this is also in the README, so you can just go there if you don't want me to walk you through it. And blob name, you can name it whatever you want. I just name it baseline.json. That's basically the file name that it's going to be there. As long as you keep it consistent between your baseline and your other one, you're good. And then container name, that's the blob storage container that you created. So once again, I called it baseline. And then in here, you have to create a shared access token. I already created one. And this one that has that I'm actually going to run the sign up, I actually put permissions to add creating, right? But when I'm doing only the monitor, I actually just create one that is just read. And actually, like, the whole storage account is in another subscription, just because you shouldn't be monitoring for intrusion and have the baseline in the same place that you monitor for intrusion. So I actually have it in another subscription that subscription is also monitored. And so in here, you're just going to copy this one, the blob SAS token, and you're going to put it here. And it's important, as you can see here, it's encrypted. So when you're creating a new variable, you're going to put the value here, and you change this to encrypted. And you have to name them exactly the same because that's what the script calls. So once you have the variables, you can go back here. Another thing I forgot to mention is you have to ACL your run as account to your subscription. So as you'll see here in the access management, you can see the Test Cloud Watcher app is a reader in the subscription. That's so it can read all the information needed for the baseline. So once you do that, we can go back to the runbooks and you click edit. You can run it in test mode or you can just publish it. And here we're just going to run it in test. It's a little bit faster. And you just click start. Once it's completed, you can see here kind of like the logs. It went through both of the subscriptions that it has access to, and then it saved it to blob. But if you can see here, I actually made it that it saves it with the date. That's in case you want to kind of like have different logs of how it has changed over time, and you can like kind of keep an archive. So if we run the monitor right now, it wouldn't work because it has the date. So what I usually do is I just download the latest and just name it baseline, and then re-upload it. And as I said, I usually do this in a different subscription and everything, so it just makes sense that it's a little bit harder to change the baseline, that it's not just as automatic as just running it and you're good to go. So once we have added the baseline back, we can go back to our variables and change the runtime to monitoring. We're gonna save, and now we can go back here to our runbook, and we're gonna click edit since we haven't published it yet. So if we go here and publish and actually run it, we can see that it's a successful run and that there are no changes detected. But when we go back here, we can see that it's actually completed and it has a check mark. So if there is a change or something, this will fail, and that's where adding alerts to it. So basically what you do is you can add alerts and that notify you when your runbook fails, and it fails, it means that something changed. I actually have it that it calls the on-call engineer so they can take a look and see what's going on. And last thing you can do is schedule it. You should schedule it every hour, every 5 minutes, however often you want it to run. That's how you add CloudWatcher to your subscription. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.